Newborn's strange behavior troubles mom. 40 years later, she finds the reason behind it. A baby's believed to lighten up the life of a couple. A baby fulfills the dream of a couple of turning into two proud parents. Two individuals are happy with each other but are happiest when they have a family they can call their own. The feelings a parent-to-be goes through are tough to be expressed in words, as they're the emotions so pure and blissful that they can only be felt. Only parents can know what it's like to experience the joys of parenthood. When everything seems to be beautiful about the birth of a baby, there was a dark side that a family from Moldova had to face after their daughter was born. The way the newborn would behave bothered the couple, and then years later a neighbor steps into their lives and everything changes forever. The baby, the parents, their family, all ended up being in a quagmire. We often define love at first sight as an occurrence which is true just because from the very day a baby is born, they fall in love with their mother. There's no love like that of a mother's. Her selfless care and love towards her baby are what makes this bond stronger. But when a woman from Moldova delivered her daughter, something seemed off. Scientifically, a baby and the mother connect to each other in an instant due to the production of various hormones that release as the woman undergoes labor. A hormone called oxytocin is solely responsible for the growing motherly instincts in a woman during her months of pregnancy. Even the newborn infant feels attached to their mother due to this particular hormone the second they step into the world. It's said that a child is able to recognize their mother's fragrance, and not just this, but the mother's voice is also something a child can differentiate from the rest much before it's born. For all those 9 months when a baby's growing inside their mother's womb, this bonding develops. But when their daughter was born, she would behave strangely, which soon turned into a cause for worry for the family. Within seconds after a baby is born, they're placed next to their mother, as they can only recognize her through her senses and is able to adapt to the outside world via her warmth, love, and care. Surprisingly, their daughter would just cry. This leaves the couple completely baffled. It was March 1978, and Vera Lashter and her husband Nikolai gave birth to a little princess, a baby girl. The couple was ecstatic. Their happiness knew no boundaries. They were already proud parents to a boy, and with a princess's birth, they thought their family was complete. Though everything was fine first, soon Vera would sense something was wrong. But what? When everyone hoped that bringing their daughter home would be a happy and magical moment for Vera and Nikolai, it wasn't anything close to it. At the very early stages, Vera felt a strange and weird disconnect from her own daughter. Little did she know that this initial discomfort with her newborn would later unwrap a story no one could ever think of. Vera and Nikolai named their daughter Tatiana. When the couple brought their newborn baby girl home, they wanted to provide her with the best of everything. As she was too young, the only way she communicated was with expressions and crying, but one day the situation seemed to be something different. It wasn't anything new for the couple to see their newborn cry, as they were experienced parents. Most often it was seen that the babies would cry to communicate they were hungry, and when Vera would feed Tatiana, she'd get all the more cranky and would fight. Vera often thought that Tatiana was mildly colic, but as she would cry louder and louder, she'd be frightened. Vera and Nikolai hoped that as the baby girl grows older, her behavior, which comes across as strange to them, would eventually vanish. However, fate had something else in store for the family. As the years passed, Tatiana grew into a preschooler, but her behavior still wasn't normal. The couple couldn't understand. Tatiana would at times be very happy with them and then would isolate herself. She was a moody person and would often be upset. Matters worsened when Tatiana became the topic of discussion for neighbors. Vera would recall the birth of her son. She remembers how he would sleep in her arms and depict by actions of crying that he's hungry. But in Tatiana's case, she'd rebel constantly whenever Vera tried feeding her. Being a mother, she could easily sense that there was something wrong about her baby girl. While Tatiana turned around 6, the neighbors started to talk about her odd attitude. People would whisper to one another about this little girl, and soon rumors spread. Even Vera's close relatives started talking about it. When Vera came to know about what people were gossiping, she couldn't take it. The neighbors had a reason to talk about Tatiana. The girl didn't play with other kids of her age, nor would she mix well with her own family. At times, the people around would say that she doesn't even resemble her parents. This was quite bizarre, and one day Vera came to know about one such whisper. One fine day, Vera was in the community park with Tatiana when she heard her neighbors passing odd glances at her and her daughter. She overheard them saying as if it seems that Vera brought home someone else's baby. She was probably raising the wrong one. People would even say that Tatiana's adopted and the family had been hiding it from everyone. Was that the case? Vera couldn't handle the rumors. She was already disturbed with Tatiana's attitude and behavior, and all these rumors were making things even more difficult. She didn't want such talks to disturb her daughter, and thus she and Nikolai decided to shift from Moldova, and when they did so, a truth surfaced. Vera and Nikolai had made all the arrangements to move to the United States in early 1999. Just a week prior to when they were about to move, a woman from their neighborhood who was a close friend to the family came in to speak with them. She told them that she had a piece of information that might be important. The woman told the couple about the story of another baby residing in her sister's neighbor. That baby was born around the same time as Tatiana, and the condition was miserable. The baby would also cry often. Hearing about the similarities to their situation with Tatiana, Vera and Nikolai panicked. While Vera and Nikolai were quite baffled on knowing the similar situation of another baby, what their neighbor further said was a blow. For instance, they wanted to ignore a particular fact, but they couldn't. What she said was something no parent would wish to hear. Nikolai later said in an interview that the woman knew them well and the other family too. He recalls, "She knew us, she knew the other family, and she knew that both kids were having problems after the hospital. As they grew up, I guess she could tell that the other kid looked a lot like our family and the kid that we had looked like their family. How could the children look like that?" Vera and Nikolai thought it was better to leave Moldova. They left and moved to North Carolina, then Ohio. However, every time they would visit the place again, they tried to locate the other family and see if anything of the past could be resolved or connected. But nothing like that happened until... Back in the 90s, it wasn't that easy to locate people as it is today. While the couple left their investigation long ago, in the year 2017, with the advent of more technology, they decided to give it another try. They remembered what the neighboring woman said, and she gave them the name of the baby as Valentina Suman. In August 2017, they searched the name Valentina Suman on Facebook and found a match. It was a girl in her 30s who was a resident of Moldova. She had dark-colored hair and eyes that resembled Nikolai's. They messaged her and told her the entire case. They even asked her for her birth details. When Valentina provided them with the details about her birth date and place in the hospital she was born in, Vera and Nikolai were amazed. It was exactly the same date, time, and place where Tatiana was born. She even forwarded some of her pictures when she was a baby, and it made the picture a lot clearer. Anatoly, Vera and Nikolai's son, saw those pictures and said that she resembled a lot like that of his parents. He was shocked to make this discovery. The resemblance was something no one could ignore. With this, the family decided to get a DNA test done. In October 2017, via Russian television show, the family got their DNA tests done. As the results came back, it was crystal clear. There were no longer any doubts regarding Tatiana and Valentina. Valentina's DNA was a 99.99% match to Vera and Nikolai. Valentina was their daughter. When Valentina met Vera backstage, she couldn't control her tears. It was an emotional reunion. They were meeting for the first time in the span of nearly 40 years. This somehow made it concrete why the two babies would be cranky all their childhood. The newborns could sense that their respective mothers weren't their biological parents. Both the families met backstage and shared a special moment. They were annoyed and angry at the blunder the hospital made. The little ones were switched at birth, but they were happy that they both were brought up by beautiful adoptive parents who'd given them the best possible life. Tatiana and Valentina shared a deep bond. Though they were strangers, being raised by each other's parents, they were no less than sisters. They were in the same situation. They had an uneasiness in adapting to their parents, and there was a disconnect in their childhood. Since Valentina come to know about her birth parents, she made a constant effort to know her parents more and more. She would often travel to the United States until she leaves Moldova. Valentina's life back there wasn't an easy one. Valentina not only had a tough childhood, but life after that had also been challenging. She's a single mother of a 6-year-old girl, Andrea. Moreover, she was also a surrogate mother to her nephew. Vera and Nikolai were happy to welcome all of their grandchildren in their family, and were glad to be part of such an extended one. As for Tatiana, she too holds no grudges against anyone. She was also trying to know her birth family and was trying to adapt to them, but she still shares some attachment with Vera and Nikolai. She was thankful to them for raising her into the human she was today. One can call this story the result of fate. How two babies got switched at the hospital and how their lives have been shaped afterwards. Luckily, they got to know about their true roots. We wish them happiness and good health for the future ahead.